Hey everybody, it's Aldo Gandhi, and I just want to let you know really quickly that our swag shop is reopened. DeepDishTees.com is where you go, and that's tees with T-E-E-S. Clever name, guys. They're the new home of our merchandise. You can get t-shirts, you can get caps, you can get coffee mugs, you can get hoodies, you can get all sorts of good stuff, and you'll help out the barroom with the purchase. So head over to DeepDishTees.com.
This is the Bears Barroom Radio Network. The following program is recorded live and intended for all audiences.
Radio is scripted now. We just come up with it. We don't use computers. We don't rehearse. We're going to talk about this next. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the Bulls. And then we're going to have Brad Big Son. And then we're going to have all this. No. If you don't know what you're going to talk about in the top of your head before a show, you shouldn't be in the business. I don't know what you got. I feel like Vince Vaughn in a couple's retreat. The Sharks are circling. Old school, baby.
You're listening to the Mike North Advantage, and it begins right now.
That's right. The Mike North Advantage starts right now. I am Aldo Gandia, Mike's wingman, and there he is, screen left, as they say in show business. Mike North, how are you, my friend?
It's always good to see my buddy Aldo Gandia. How are you, Aldo? Everything looks good. Everything's lit up. You look like you're on the strip in Vegas, for God's sake. I look like I'm in a mortician's office, but forget about it. What can I tell you? We're feeling good. The hair day, a possible 6 out of 10.
No, that's definitely a 9.
I was going to do this when we came on because we had to reboot. I was going to do this.
So scared the happen.
It's scared the living daylights out of you, but I said, forget about it. You know, we only see each other. We don't see, well, we're going to be seeing a lot of each other down the line here. There was some special announcements coming up shortly. As far as my Twitter handle is concerned, as far as a nice thing that's going to go on with some movie people and stuff like that. And so we're going to have fun, and we're doing real well with the numbers. Aldo and I were talking about this beforehand. We're very happy about that. The Barroom appreciates it. Make sure you give the Barroom. I remember when we could barely crawl. And now we walk among giants. Yes. But our numbers are all good. We got a lot of great shows. We've lost some people along the way that we miss and stuff like that. And we think about them often because everybody from the beginning to the end, Aldo, has been involved in some way that's helped us get to a place where me and you, for instance, are doing other endeavors.
Absolutely. There isn't a day that goes by where I don't hit my pillow and I say, thank you, everyone that has been a part of the Barroom Network. You have helped make us who we are, and we really appreciate your time with us. And for those people who are currently with the Barroom Network, we appreciate you even more because you guys are just great. Everyone is great. We got a great association with the entire team.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Now the nice things are over with. Let me just be the only guy in Chicago that can't believe what's going on with Lakeshore Drive before we get going. Well, they're thinking of changing the name.
Oh, that's right. I heard that. Yes.
DuSable Drive. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm going to say this. I have no disrespect for anything or anybody, but I do know this. I've been in Chicago for 6 decades. All right. I just recently moved away because of nonsense like this. All right. Are you people crazy? It's one of the most famous streets in the whole world. It's just like South Beach, Rush Street, Lakeshore Drive. There's a song named after it. DuSable, all due respect. If you wanted to change the name of the city from Chicago to DuSable Town, I don't care. But Lakeshore Drive, I know this because I have friends of all denominations, races, creeds, and colors. That's it. All of us in a 17-mile drive, all of us love Lakeshore Drive. So what I'm trying to figure out, because my mother wants to know this, my 91-year-old mother wants to know this. She told me to make sure that I don't say 92 because she's not there yet. And I said 92 last time. But she wants to know this. How come she's not seeing any opposition to this? And all the city council people are going to vote for this? Who rammed this through? It's ridiculous. If you want to name O'Hare Field, DeSable Field, go ahead. But Lakeshore Drive, and then I heard somebody from some coalition go, it's about time. What did Lakeshore Drive ever do? Everybody that's lived in Chicago loves Lakeshore Drive. What the hell did they do? My God. It's such a revered drive. It makes me sick. Barbara Streisand did the picture of an album, her first album, at Oak Street Beach. I mean, the nonsense, the cancel culture, whatever you want to call it. And Lori Lightfoot's even trying to stop it.
Is she? I didn't know that. Yeah.
Yes. And they're trying to ram it through. So who's working the puppet strings here? And where's the opposition? It's right here as usual. I'll be the bad guy again. I love Lakeshore Drive. I worked there. I worked there for the Park District. Okay? And I worked with Hispanics. I worked with blacks. And we were buddies, and we all loved Lakeshore Drive. So enough with the nonsense. Now there's supposed to be a vote. They're supposed to be blocking it. I don't know. But this, why would you even consider this? Even my wife, who's the fairest person on earth, goes, you're kidding.
Your liberal wife.
Yes, as liberal as they get as far as being fair.
Yeah.
And that's what it's supposed to be about. Who asked for this? I haven't heard anybody ever go, we got to change the name of this street. And where are all the conservative voices? I don't care where, or even mid. Forget about it. Moderate. Where's somebody to say something? You can't just go along and be a get-along Joes. Somebody's got to say something, so I'm proud to be a Chicagoan. I know Aldo. Aldo and I don't even live in the city anymore. There's reasons sometimes. I never got into it with him, why he doesn't. I respect where he lives. He respects where I live now. But, I mean, when I hear this nonsense, where's the leadership? Where's somebody to speak up? All right, I got that off my chest.
Well, you got a lot of people in the chat room who agree with you, and it is.
Where's somebody speak up? No wonder the Tribune is getting trouble. Well, come on.
That's the other big story in Chicago is that the Chicago Tribune has been bought by a hedge company, and so that they've already offered buyouts to over, I think, hundreds of their employees. And so Chicago's leading newspaper, I think, in terms of circulation, could be headed for ruin if this hedge company has its way.
Because of what they did over the past 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
Getting rid of the stars, cutting salaries, people just jumping from one Tribune company to another, selling out. I mean, look, have enough respect for the citizens to at least endorse somebody. If you didn't want to endorse Hillary, endorse Trump. If you didn't want to endorse Trump, endorse Hillary. But to sit it out like you did, this is the nonsense. Nobody's afraid to step up, okay? And because it doesn't help their careers. I understand all that. You got people, you got kids. How do you go to bed at night, though? If you do major radio in this town and you're just going along with Lakeshore Drive or you're going along with some of the other nonsense going on, I just don't get it. I don't know where objectivity has come into play here. I mean, Lakeshore Drive's not a baseball stadium that you can go from U.S. Cellular to Guaranteed Rate Field. And how about this? How about the money that you're going to spend to change the signs? It's supposed to be in the millions just to change the street signs. What could you do for the homeless? What could you do for the city? The downtown, from what I understand, is a shithole right now. And nobody's even talking about it. What do you have news media for in this town if you're not going to open your mouths? My God.
Mike, I agree with a lot of what you're saying, but particularly with what you just said, that money spent on making changes could go to better. That's right. To a lot of repairs. Real Chicago Dave says if they change Lakeshore Drive, please don't change it to Tony Louisa Drive.
Well, that's another thing. Let's get on to that, okay? Because I don't want to get off scripture, but I had to go. Like, somebody got to talk. My mother's going, what's going on? Everybody I talk to loves them. Loves Lakeshore Drive. But anyway, I guess they have a blues place in right field. It was named after a 60-year worker.
Yes.
And listen to this. I worked at Wrigley, and I took that trip to Comiskey in 68 and 69. I was a vendor. and I worked concessions at then Dyke Stadium, which is now Ryan Field for Northwestern, and Soldier Field. I worked 8-0. Hard-ass work. Climbing stairs, even for me, 16, 17 years old. There's lifers like this, and they're changing the name to LaRussa's Lounge. I mean, to me, look, I can't believe it.
Yeah, I saw this yesterday on Twitter, and I retweeted it. Tyrone Palmer wrote, "This legitimately pisses me off. This was formerly named Loretta's Lounge after Loretta Michelle. She worked concessions for the Sox for 60 years. They dedicated it to her during the 2005 World Series. She gave so much to the organization, and replacing her name to LaRussa's Lounge is shameful."
I got to be honest. And you know what? Here's the thing that's beautiful about me and Aldo. I remember when Aldo and I couldn't stand the sight of each other the first couple of times.
During the election? Was that when?
No, we just said, let's just take a break. No, seriously. He and I are in sync so much. I never talked about this before the show. And I bring it up, and all of a sudden, and here we go, because of also somebody that was in the chat room, and we have it all set. Because this is marketing 101. You don't do something like that, and how does it get out and stuff like that? It just doesn't put the White Sox in a good light. It doesn't. And I don't even know if you gotta believe. I haven't heard from Jerry Reinsdorf at all. Nobody has. He's been out there, I guess, and about and stuff like that. But this one here is not good PR. That's all I'm going to say.
Yeah.
And if I'm Tony La Russa, I'd be the first guy to say, take it down.
Yes, that's what I immediately thought, Mike. You and I think alike. I would have walked over there and I would have taken it down myself and said, put it back the way it was, please. Let's not do this to this fine lady. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and the family's probably upset and everything else, because once you dedicate something like that, I mean, how long is your memory of the woman? Okay, yeah. 60 minutes. So as far as instead of 60 years, you name something after somebody, keep it up there, and then that. Look, I've had a DUI. Okay, I beat it back in the day, but that's not the point. It's a pain in the ass. It really is. And when you get stopped by the cops, it's a pain in the ass. It's no fun. And when you have the out there story of Tony La Russa, who I love, by the way, as a manager, things going well.
I know you do.
Oh my God. I mean, that one there is just something that maybe, does somebody raise their hand? Just like the Lakeshore Drive thing. Does somebody go, excuse me? I want to ask a question. You think, how about Tony La Russa's restaurant or Tony La Russa's snack bar? Okay. Yeah. That would have been more appropriate, I believe, than lounge. Because really, by the way, as far as lounges go, I've been in thousands of them. Not exactly loungy. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? So I hope that they reconsider. We'll see what happens. But at the end of the day, it's none of my business. But La Russa should say something, just like Eric is saying right there.
Yep. Adrian Vera says, good morning from Vegas. The Bears have my warehouse nervous for their teams. Let's go. Yeah, everybody's nervous about the Chicago Bears right now, but we'll talk about the Bears on a future show. We've got a lot to talk about tonight. Let's stay on the topic of the Chicago White Sox, because the White Sox, they lost that 3-game series to New York Yankees. And frankly, you know me, I was terrified that, okay, here we go. But they came back and win 2 out of 3 against the St. Louis Cardinals. And they're now 28-20, but they are 5-5 in their last 10 games. Where is your concern level with this team right now? Is it high? Is it medium? Or is it low?
It's high. And I'll tell you what, I think that, and this is the reason I'm switching my Twitter, and Aldo's going to help me with it, because I'm trying lately, the last couple times, the last week or two, I've been trying to stay in the handicap mode. But every so often, there'll be a tweet, and you know me, I can't help myself. So my good friend Ryan McGuffey, one of the great guys of all time, and a producer who produced my Monsters in the Morning, me and Jiggets.
I didn't know that.
Oh, Ryan.
I didn't know he did that. That's fun.
Ryan, Ryan's one of the greats. I miss him. I follow him on Twitter. He follows me, but we don't. He's gone in and he's doing great. And he was the head guy of that. And believe me, it was a wild year, but it was the best morning sports show of all time. We all say it.
Oh yeah.
In a whisper. So, that was crazy. Anyway, I think what Ryan did was he put out Mercedes stats the last 7 games.
Mm-hmm.
So then Mike was trying to now keep everything. And if you look at my Twitter feed, you'll see a lot of handicap stuff now. Barroom stuff, AM 1000 stuff, and Win Daily, the sponsor of this show stuff. That's it for the most part. Plus 70s guy, some tweets from other people, Big Cat. Okay. But all I said is the hot shot isn't so hot anymore. I start taking a beating. Folks, he's 28 years old and he's a rookie. We talked about this last time. Yesterday, he left about 3,000 men on base. I watched the game. They're throwing him off-speed stuff. That doesn't mean he's not going to adjust and kick ass. But he was bound to get in a slump. All I did was state the obvious. He thinks he's a hot shot, and he's not so hot right now. And it all started with Tony La Russa basically saying, hey.
Yeah.
But somebody said, well, La Russa started. He's a 28-year-old rookie. You have to be mentally tougher than this. Okay? Don't use that as an excuse. He's the guy that he went from 1 gold chain to 25. Okay? He can't even hold his head up anymore. So he's all about, let's go. So all I did was point it out, and people get offended, White Sox fans. 1 minute they're so offended, the next minute, by the way, we're back. It was good to see the girls fighting in the left field bleachers.
Somebody was mentioning that in the chat room.
I said there was such a, I teared up. They go, we're back. Oh yeah, it was great. One had one by the hair, and it was punching. Never punch up. If you're punching up, you're dead.
Yeah.
You're dead. If there's a seat ahead of you, just try to say, can I walk up and talk to you so I can be on an even? Because this turns you into Muhammad Ali, punching down. You might be the worst fighter in the world, but punching down makes you Muhammad Ali. It's not going to be all right.
Yeah.
It's not going to be all right, Aldo. Do you know that? Come on.
I think so.
These are tough.
I think so too, but I'll tell you what's weird, Mike, is this team is really jinxed when it comes down to injuries. I mean, yesterday I'm looking at the game and Kopech is on the mound. He throws a pitch and all of a sudden I see him on the ground. He's holding his ankle. He's writhing in pain. He's limping off the field. I'm like, what the hell is going on? I can't even throw a ball when somebody gets injured on this team.
And they got nothing but, like we've talked about this, when you had to play, if these guys got paid by the game, it'd be a whole different story. Well, the first thing you got to do is get rid of the man bun if you want to avoid any future injury, for God's sake. Michael Kopech's got a man bun now. I mean, man buns were big when? Never in my house. I think you get rid of the man bun, and that might help you heal faster. Maybe I'm wrong. But you're right. I mean, I was scared for the kid because he's had nothing but he's had nothing but sadness so far in his career. I'll tell you who's unbelievable. It's this kid Vaughn in left field.
Andrew Vaughn, yeah.
He's throwing people out. He's making catches on the run, cutting in front of the center fielder, hitting the baseball out of the park, hitting Chapman. I'm going, oh my God, who is this guy? And that's the problem we're going to have.
Right.
Because when Eloy comes back, if the Yerminator stops urinating, it's going to be Terminator. Because he's not going to be, he'll be on the bench, and stuff like that. That's what's going to happen. And Eloy's going to come because you only have so many spots, right? He's done a good job for us so far, though. He's allowed to go into a slump.
Yep. Hey, my good buddy Laro Golden, co-host of Bulls 101, he wants a tip for a beginning better. What can you give him a beginning better tip? Give him the same one you gave me, which was don't lose.
Well, I said that, but also I think the thing is to come up with a good story of why you started betting and why you're down $400 and you have to ask the wife for money. That's the first thing you got to learn. That it will be like if you've ever been arrested, this will be 10 times worse. You're
I don't know what happened. I mean, I had $400 in my wallet, and all of a sudden it's just gone. I don't know.
Yeah, that's number one. Number two, you start out slow. You do $25, $10. You go to DraftKings. You go to Bovada, who I like, or you got a guy who I have. I just get the lines. I call him in. I tell the guy what I'm taking. He knows that they're giving out the lines at this site. He's old school guy. I've been with the guy for a long time. Hell, 30 years. You think I'm not going to let the computer age, this is this man's livelihood, ladies and gentlemen. Although I will say this, I've put him on vacation a couple times. I paid for a couple of vacations. Where you at? Hawaii. Oh, right after football season. Believe me, Aaron Rodgers. I love Aaron Rodgers. Let me show everybody what a glitch. I know people that don't have 2 nickels that can go to Hawaii. Give me a break.
What do you think about this whole Aaron Rodgers thing? He was on ESPN. He says that it's about the people. He kept talking about the people. The organization has always been built on the people, but now it's not about the people. So, what do you think about the whole thing?
Pull the shorts up a little bit. I mean, your girlfriend's a nice-looking lady. I dated a high school model when I was in high school at Sen. She did catalog shoots for Marshall Field. I mean, come on. Mm-hmm. I couldn't rub 2 nickels together, and 2 and 2 was 5. Okay? So Hawaii and the model, I'm impressed, but you're Aaron Rodgers, for God's sake. He looks undernourished. I can't believe that guy, has withstood the stare. Very fortunate, Green Bay. Very fortunate with the 2 quarterbacks. Yeah. 3 quarterbacks they've had, Bart Starr, Brett Favre. I mean, they had some bums in between. But, by the way, Aaron Rodgers is a man bum, too.
Oh, yeah, he does. That's right. He's,
to become a Vogue again. I thought we got rid of that nonsense.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the hell is going on.
Man bun? Right
no,
now, and I would never do that.
No. One of the things about Rodgers, why he's so thin, is because his diet. Him and his girlfriend they're like vegans, and he doesn't eat cheese. He plays for Wisconsin Green Bay Packers. He doesn't eat cheese, which is bizarre that the Packers would still have him in the organization. But yeah, he's got a very strict diet.
He was singing Taylor Swift. I couldn't name a Taylor Swift song, so all due respect, with his wife as they were cutting some food. Okay. I would probably, I hate to say it, I'd probably sing Precious and Fuel, me and B. Precious and Fuel, while we're cutting a steak. I don't know. I mean, is this a new thing? I mean, to me, he thinks it's cool. As a guy that could care less about Aaron Rodgers, never have liked him, I don't know. I mean, I'm happy for him. I'm happy for his life, but he puts himself out there.
Yeah,
He's a me guy for a guy that's crying about being a team guy.
That's right. He sure is.
Just like the coach said to me one time at Truman. God bless him, Don English. He goes, Mike, there's no I in team. I said, but there's an M and an E. Nonsense.
I love it. Well, let's talk about the Northsiders now, because they're doing quite well. They are 8-2 in their last 10. They've got a record of 26-22, a .542 winning percentage, which is the 5th best in the National League. What do you say about these Cubbies? Are they impressing you?
Who would have thought that a bunch of guys, and this should be the future plan for any team, have guys on the last year of their deal and tell them they suck and won't have a chance, and watch a bunch of good ball players who actually say in today's paper, or if you've heard some of the comments, you know what? They felt a little disrespected by the front office, and they're taking that disrespect and making them make tough decisions. They're going to have some tough decisions to make, because this team, which is, I think, 5-1 still.
Yeah.
I'm looking at the competition, and I see the White Sox and the Cubs right there. So I just think that You got to like them. They were an over-under 79.
Mm-hmm.
David Ross, mea culpa. Got to say it. Mea culpa. Can't have a buddy on the manager thing. See, this is a different type of show than you'll hear around the country, folks. I actually admit when I throw somebody under the bus and say it's not going to work out, let's bring in Ozzie Guillen. Yeah. Just like the Bambino. Babe Ruth strikes out every so often. You know, Jordan missed the basket. This one I missed, and I think a lot of people did with David Ross.
Mm-hmm.
But so far, he's making Theo look bad. I mean, Theo got rid of Hugh Darvish. Yeah. I think that angered the team.
Mm-hmm.
Rizzo, look at Bryant. Bryant hasn't played like this for 2 years. He was injured and disinterested. He really was. Had no spark to his game.
Mm-hmm.
I think I used to say, listen to this. I used to say, why are you playing Bryant in 5 different positions? Arenado doesn't play 5 different positions. He's the best third baseman in the game. Mm-hmm. Other third basemen don't. How can you do that? And then I see he's only got 1 or 2 errors.
Yeah.
Playing 5 different positions.
How about it?
So to me, if you're asking me who's one of the top free agents, I can't believe I'm saying this. I think he's leading the league in extra base hits too. It's Chris Bryant.
Yeah.
It's Chris Bryant. I mean, my God. He's done a 2016 and 2017. All credit to the Cubs.
I like the point here that Bearstown 19 show is making, and I'll ask it to you as a question. Do you think that this could be the Cubs' last dance, given that they are probably going to shed some payroll and the team, is going to continue to look more different next season?
I'm telling you right now, they better reconsider Bryant. I hate to say this. I wanted no part of the guy. I think most of us didn't. At the middle of last year.
Yeah.
I thought he was playing out the string. I thought he was getting a little bit soft. And you see how many games he plays. You see where he plays. He plays right field, left field, first base, third base. I mean, come on. I mean, there's got to be some bidders for him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe the Cubs realize this. You can't tear down look at like Horner getting hurt like that. A young guy like that.
Right.
You don't know what's going to happen. That's a serious injury.
Yeah, very serious.
And by the way, the Jake Arrieta deal, I've always argued this. Excuse me. The Jake Arrieta deal, I always thought, hey, look at what he did with Philadelphia. Change of scenery is not always good. Ask Francisco Lindor.
Very, very true.
I think Arrieta was the man.
Yep.
Here and there, he had to have a different mindset with Bryce Harper being new in town.
Mm-hmm.
You had other guys that could pitch on that team. He's perfect for this ball club. God bless. And by the way, when you have back issues, it's going to mess your game up. He is playing well. Rizzo's the guy with the back issues.
Yeah.
He's sitting 2 days in a row. You don't want, if you're a prospective free agent, you don't want that a whole lot out there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the point you make about Jake Arrieta is so true. I wish more and more players would say, you know what, I'm just going to forfeit the $4 or $5 extra $1 million when I'm making $10. Yeah.
It killed him. He was the man here. He was a legend.
Right.
It's a two-way street. They let him walk. They shouldn't have. He walked and he shouldn't have.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Right.
You go to Philadelphia, you got lost. Your game wasn't the same. You lost some velocity off your fastball. You come here, you're back to being the hometown guy, the hero. And I always contend a change of pace. I don't know what James McCann is hitting. Maybe you could check. But this might be a deal. Lindor's not hitting. New York's even tougher to pitch or to play under.
Yeah.
I mean, it's ruined many a man. Now, I know Rondell ain't the catching for the Sox is no big thing. I like Zach Collins. I still want him McCann, but I haven't checked it out. What's he at now? You got anything on him?
I got James McCann. He has had 112 at-bats, 2 home runs, 10 RBIs. He has started. I can't see where he has started, but he's played in 35 games.
What's he hitting?
The baseball average, I can tell you the OPS. Well, everybody's doing oh my gosh, he's only hitting 196.
Yeah, I mean, you know what? And I wanted him re-signed him because he was an all-star catcher in the American League.
Yeah.
He goes and makes this change. Grandel comes and makes that change because of the money. Both guys, and they're both falling on. They're both basically, let's say this, have not been successful so far this year.
Yeah, totally agree. And people are going to say, "Hey, Aldo, you said forget about the $4 or $5 million," and I know that's a lot to give up. But at the same time, if you are really committed to your craft, sometimes it's just better to sacrifice some money so that you can be happy and play at a high level. But this is not on McCann. This was primarily the White Sox. Not
It's a Trubisky type situation where McCann has to go somewhere else, but he got the big money, had to take the $40 million. Grandel, the highest bidder was the Sox, had to come here and take that. Mm-hmm. I think we can agree neither one has worked out so far. Lindor's crapping the bed in New York. A lot of guys, Reggie Jackson ain't walking through that door to take the pressure. Either is Dave Winfield. A lot of other guys have fallen. Ed Whitfield, everything else. Mm-hmm. But the bottom line is, Jake Arrieta in the clubhouse has a presence, a dominance.
Yep.
Okay, that I don't think even John Lester had. Yep. With the Cubs, and I like John Lester's competitiveness, bulldogness, but to me, Arrieta, we won because of Arrieta and the other players in 2016. He was the Cy Young winner.
Yeah. Mule makes an interesting point here. He says the Cubs have to make a big trade at the deadline as they are starving for young prospect starters. What is your thought on that?
What happens if, I remember the white flag trade with the White Sox. We had all sorts of guys, and we gave up after 3.5 games back. You can't be doing that now.
That's right. They're a half game back.
If the Ricketts really want to seal their doom, have Jed Hoyer start getting rid of every damn Cubs starter that's doing well.
Yeah,
because these guys got 5-6 more years, and I want to get something. I want to back up my buddy Aldo with the money angle. I don't care how much money you got. To me, the genius of them all has been the biggest winner in NFL history, Tom Brady. He has deferred money so many times, and he's made it down the line through bonuses, through future signings. He got his money, but when they said we need this guy, we need Wes Welker from Miami. We need that guy. It will help you, but we need some help, Tom. He did that.
Yep.
That's what he did. That's what Aldo's talking about. You give up a little. Now, baseball's a selfish sport because, but when you have a guaranteed contract, you should be able to speak up and say, you know what, maybe I'll defer some of my bonus money down the line. But I think the Cubs, I think that was bad. Because Darvish was horrible early on with the Cubs, too.
Yeah, and he had some injury issues, and there's some bad luck there. But, boy, just when he started really pitching like the guy we were expecting to get, so we move him. It's like, come on, what's going on, Cubbies?
I'll give you another example with another sport. Kawhi Leonard with the Clippers. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry, with Toronto, they won the championship.
Mm-hmm.
The next year, Toronto was pretty damn good. If they would have had Kawhi Leonard, they might win it again. We found out without him, they did pretty good.
Yeah.
He goes to the Clippers. They're such a cowardly organization that they lose their last 2 games, one to Houston on purpose, because they don't want to face Houston the Lakers down the line. And now Doncic is going, I'm going to kick it up a notch and kick all your asses since you disrespected the Dallas Mavericks.
Yeah, how about that?
These are the type of situations where the grass is greener on the other side. I think Aldo's heard me say this more than once, and we've all done this, I'm sure. The grass is greener, especially in the entertainment business like I am, on the other side till you get to the other side.
Yeah, it's very true.
I can name you a million guys. But Kawhi Leonard is another example. Mm-hmm. He was the toast of the NBA. Now he looks like toast. Period.
Yeah, he's moved around a little too much. But let's stay on the topic of the NBA playoffs because last night
Look at you segue. I love
that. Huh? I'm getting better at this thing. Last night I'm watching the Knicks game, and boy, Derrick Rose, he was really super impressive. And then afterwards, he does this interview on TNT, and I said, "Wow, Derrick Rose, I miss you." He sounded so smart about the things that have happened in his career. He reflected on things. He just talked about what his role is now. He was asked, "What are you concerned about in the future?" He goes, "I'm not concerned about anything. Never have been, but I work hard." He said, "I vow to the peace,
No,
proper preparation,
Counselor. I object. Everything was going slow, riding in the car, all of a sudden you hit that bump, and everything gets the wheel turns a little bit. I've never been concerned. This is the guy, Derrick Rose, who said he wanted a big contract because he wanted to be able to walk by the time he was 40. So he's full of crap. He also had some off the field issues. Yeah. After I heard Charles Barkley say what a great kid he is, he's had some off the field issues, and he didn't play for 2 years. We had a different situation. We had D Rose as MVP. The kid was so talented, so good. Mm-hmm. I had a buddy, God bless him, Phil Dunn, who used to tell me, "Wait till you see this kid Derrick Rose out of Simeon." He was a big high school guy. Mm-hmm. And I said, "What are you talking about? I've seen them all. Mark Aguirre, out of Westinghouse. I mean, just a ton of Terry Cummings. I mean, when the kid stayed here." Then he goes, "Illinois is going to get him." Mm-hmm. I go, "If he's as good as you say, Illinois ain't going to get him." There's all the Illinois guys from John Shire to Chris Collins to Derrick Rose. They started leaving a long time ago. There's even more. Quinn Buckner was an Illinois kid who played 2 sports with Indiana and won. Mm-hmm. So he goes to Memphis. Then I see this kid, and I go, "Whoa." I couldn't believe it. Then we get him. Mm-hmm. But what happened to him afterwards was a downward spiral with him as far as his injuries are concerned. So I'm so happy for him. I don't think he'll be able to do what he did last night again the next game. We'll see. Mm-hmm. He's taking good care of himself. The training staff for the Bulls sacrificed a lot. Mm-hmm. Sacrificed their team a lot for him.
Right.
And I'm glad his career is better, but everybody left because it was all based on Derrick.
Right.
So I'm happy to see he's winning, but I'm anxious to see what happens now with him going to Atlanta in not a back-to-back type of situation, but close to it. Can he play 3 full quarters again? Can he play those type of minutes?
Yeah, that's going to be the big question with him is, can he be leaned on to play those 30-plus minutes in consecutive games?
I think he can. I just saw what the one guy put up because he did it game 1, 2. But, yeah, Randall is the guy that's got to come through. They went despite him last night. Mm-hmm. But, Randall's never played under, as D. Rose said, that type of pressure. Mm-hmm. That type of he's got to carry. And he basically said, and then he got more comfortable. So, you know what? I have no axe to grind, but I'm going to tell folks something about this.
Okay.
I put out a toy today, a popcorn gun. Okay. I have it on my Twitter. You can buy a popcorn gun because kids can shoot popcorn balls. When we've been in bars, we flung popcorn at people. Okay. Last night, Russell Westbrook had popcorn thrown at him. I would have lost my mind too. But they're saying you got to improve the security. Okay. Uh-huh. There was 17 guys around him. Okay. It was the great popcorn raid. Came from above. You know what I mean? Yes. But when that was a bigger deal than Trae Young being spit at, if you've ever been spit on, folks, that's when the red ass comes out, no matter what. And if anybody's ever been spit at or spit on, that's disrespect. And supposedly that happened to Trae Young. And the popcorn stuff was the bigger story early. And now I think it's going to that. Look, it's great to have the fans back, but you can't be doing that crap, man. Yeah, I never once was so thought I was so mad I want to spit on an athlete. Come on, man.
That's crazy. And he's gone through a lot. He's been called a lot of things. And so
they're printing up sheets what to say to him in chants in New York. Yeah. And I saw Mike Golick say, you know what? You guys deserve to be in the playoffs only once a decade. They're telling people to chant about his bald spot and everything else. I mean, really, New York, to me, I've never been a New York guy. Can't stand the place, to be honest with you. Used to be nicer to me as far as I'm concerned, but that's just low. That's low rent.
Absolutely. Mule Skinner reminds us that Illinois got Butkus 1,000,000 years ago, and that he was the real deal from.
Yeah, thank you, Mule Skinner. My mother went on her first date in a covered wagon. I understand that. My mother went dance at the Aragon when he didn't have to worry about going to the Aragon.
I once went to
in the 1950s. It was like a ballroom. It's the Aragon ballroom. Now you go there, Motley Crue's making their 4th reunion.
The rats at the Aragon Ballroom were so big. How big were they? They were like Volkswagens. I mean, unbelievable.
Sometimes you mistook them for a dance partner. It's crazy.
That's right. Would you like to have this dance? Oh! Oh my goodness.
Don't say that ever again. All right, sorry. You guys are like, all right. Anybody ever in a headlock knows what I'm talking about.
Anything else regarding these NBA playoffs that's tickling your funny bone?
No, I don't even know who won last night because it's all about popcorn. Dave Rob.
That's right. Our lead story today.
Let me ask everybody this: if Moises and Lou on the Bartman fly ball just turns around and runs back after he leaps, there's never a problem. There's never, but he jumped up and down. Baker came out. They made a spectacle of the kid. Yeah. And that's what happened. If Westbrook which is hard to do, if somebody throws something at you, I don't care what it is. It's not what hits you. It's not like they're going to throw ball bearings on the guy. Right. They said, we're going to disrespect you. So I know what that's all about. But if he just decides, screw you, and walked in, it's not a story today as far as I'm concerned. But I don't blame him. Yeah. I would have popped off too. Sorry.
Yeah, the Lou thing was the way he behaved afterwards.
Oh my God!
Awful. And then we learned that the next day he already thought that he was already making plans to go back home because he thought the series was over. So Lou lost my respect.
Oh my God! The Bartman deal. He made a spectacle of himself, and they made the scapegoat out of Bartman. You know?
Yep.
We still got to try to get in. We got to try to get an interview with that kid.
Yeah, man, that would be big. Hey, what do you think about LeBron? You think real Chicago Dave says the Suns should be up 2-0, but CP3 is a glass doll for LeBron to go get around. Do you think the Suns have a chance against the Lakers?
No, I don't.
But that was
you know what? I mean, I know they're talking about having a midseason tournament now. That's what's happened to the NBA.
Yeah, what's going on there?
I mean, Larry Bird is rolling over in his bed right now. So is Jordan. So is Magic. They saved the league, and now they're just bastardizing the league. The WNBA is making political statements like offending the 30 viewers they have left. I mean, it's just ridiculous. I mean, just play the game. Get back to 82. Play your playoffs. The Knicks uniforms last night, it's the New York Knicks. It's their first time back in the playoffs, and you wear that nonsense? By the way, the city that never sleeps, me and my buddies were in New York. We couldn't find a bar open on Park Avenue past midnight. So don't give me that crap, the city that never sleeps. The city that goes to bed early now. Are you kidding me? Do you believe they wore those uniforms like they were at the Rutgers tournament? Did you see those things?
I did. I thought.
What are they, children?
I thought they looked kind of. I thought they looked kind of cool, and then I read the city that never sleeps. I go, what?
Wait a minute. You got to have the blue and orange of what the Knicks thing. You know, that's why the Yankees are legendary. It's New York, pinstripes, no name, number. Look at the score. Look at the scorecard for the number, you dumbasses. You got to have a big ass name across. Know your Yankees, and the Knicks just sell out.
You're gonna kill me. Oh, my cheeks are swollen from all the.
I've been drinking out of the same cup. It's been empty for 10 minutes.
Waiter,
please. Wow.
All right.
It's just nonsense. My God, I'm watching those uniforms. Atlanta looked good.
Atlanta did look good. Yes.
I mean, Atlanta went and got a game. That's what you have to do. I'd like to see the Knicks get their ass kicked. Sorry.
Are you? I know you make a lot of money on the NHL. Are you got an eye on anything going on in the NHL?
No, I'll tell you what else. I got baseball today. For us, I mean, I got a game, but I mean, last week we lost. I hate early games. I got another early game, which I'll tell later on, a little bit later on in the show. But the NBA and NHL, they've been very unpredictable. I think the public won yesterday. I mean, that's just basically it. I was told by the system, don't even bother.
Interesting.
Don't bother. And the odds in the NHL, like minus 200, minus 180. Even tonight, there's some high odds. Carolina is playing tonight. So it's been more about Major League Baseball. It really has. It's been more about Major League Baseball. And last night, the Jazz covered. And I just think that, and I thought they would, I didn't like the way they didn't play the kid the first game. They win last night. Maybe they'll keep going on. I think Quinn Snyder's your coach of the year. I keep hearing Monty Blue. I've watched him coach teams before this one. Or not Monty Blue. I forget what his name is now. The coach of the Phoenix Suns. And with all due respect, Tom Thibodeau, regular season type of guy. Chris Paul's the same way. You've heard me call him a regular season hero. Doesn't go anywhere in the playoffs.
That's true.
Nowhere. Look at his past record. He's a Hall of Famer. Sure, he's a first ballot Hall of Famer. You stick around long enough, even Harold Baines is. So, I mean, but when it comes to the playoffs, he's non-existent. He really is. Even when he was in college, and I know he went at Wake Forest, so he made that program, him and Tim Duncan. Tell me they didn't have something illegal going there.
Yeah.
Chris Paul and Tim Duncan go to Wake Forest. Come on.
Eric in the chat room says reverse line move on the Jazz line. What does that mean? I'm not familiar with this gambling.
Well, what it's saying is that first of all, you can make alternate bets, but like even tonight, I think Miami started out -1 tonight. Now it's Milwaukee -1. There's also proposition bets. Listen to this bet. You want to hear a bad bet I made last night? I said this can't be. Morant. Over under 22.5 points. I took the under. The guy had twice that.
Yes.
That's the dumbest bet I've ever made.
Yeah.
But I looked at it, goes, come on. Are they going to stop him? No, they didn't stop nobody. I mean, they couldn't stop him.
Yeah.
That kid's a talent and a half. I'll never do that dumb thing again. But you know what? Everybody makes dumb moves sometimes. That's the way the gambling business is, man. I mean, they got those places don't close in Vegas.
Yeah.
All those sports books, they get new upholstery every year, a new rug.
Right.
They have it shampooed 3 times a year,
I lost a handful of jelly beans last night because I bet on Sidney Crosby scoring a goal in a playoff elimination game. He did not. He had 4 shots on goal and he did not score a goal. And I thought for sure he'd score one. He had not done anything the entire series. And there you go. I got screwed. But you live and learn.
Well, you live and learn. You know what? It's fun to do. I mean, I watched the golf this weekend. And by the way, the golf was
oh my gosh, yes.
The golf was great this past weekend. Phil Mickelson doing what he did.
Wow.
I don't think his wife was even there. I don't even think she thought he was going to win. Okay?
That's right.
I didn't see her anywhere. I mean, was she there?
No, he called her afterwards. Yeah, honey, I'll see you. I'm flying back now.
You won? And I almost bet him. You know what I took?
She wasn't even watching.
I took Oosthuizen.
Oh.
Every time I take that guy, he loses.
Oh, man.
Every time I take Oosthuizen, he loses. He can't putt. He can't do it. But this new thing with DeChambeau.
Oh, yeah.
And Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
What a genius move. Now, Koepka would have been better than Mickelson because Koepka and DeChambeau hate each other, but that's coming down the line. They might have a match game.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're acting, if they're doing, but there's never. The PGA is stealing the thunder of the NBA and Major League Baseball, even the NFL right now, with all the exterior stuff between DeChambeau. See, I said it first when Koepka couldn't even stand him walking by. I go, and DeChambeau finally told Tom Brady, "You're going to be deflated like the footballs you used." I mean, he's busting ass.
That's awesome.
I mean, that can't be staged. That's embarrassing. That guy.
Yeah,
it's all good. I said somebody said that they'd make Koepka a minus 140 in a fight against DeChambeau.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry. I could have had my knee hurt in the mob. Oh. No. DeChambeau's a picket, at least. Koepka's afraid after he takes 300 swings in the tournament that somebody was going to brush his leg. In the mob scene, which, by the way, was cool. Tiger's been in mob scenes. Arnold Palmer's been in mob scenes.
Oh, yeah.
Nicholas has been. And they all live to talk about it. But Brooks Koepka almost got killed.
Yeah, I bet on Brooks, and so that made me even more angry.
You know what I got a kick out of? Not once. Because my partner John Jansen brought up, well, he's got an injury. I never saw him limp.
Yeah, that's right. He had surgery some time ago, but apparently he was afraid.
People had their tonsils out 20 years ago. They don't say their voice is raspy because they just did it. Come on.
All right. Hey, Mike, do you bet on the Indianapolis 500? Is that something that you look forward to?
That would make me officially a degenerate. I am not betting on NASCAR. I'm sorry. I don't bet on NASCAR. I don't bet on I got my limits. Okay. You know, it all started back in the day when they said, well, you know what? Jeff won that race because he had his 4 teammates block and draft. I'm going, what? They're fixing the races. They said, no, they're not. They're just getting in the way of the other cars. You know, when they started having an owner can own 4 or 5 cars, I jumped off that stuff.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Know, can you imagine an owner owning 5 football teams?
That's right.
Oh, you know, one of my teams needs this win for the playoffs, and we're playing another one of my teams.
Yeah.
Okay? You know what would happen. So I got off that real quick, man. I really did.
Interesting. You know, and when I was finding the odds, I didn't recognize a single name. It's not like the days of AJ Foyt, Mario.
He's still racing.
Jackie Stewart.
Jackie Stewart still racing? Listen, Jackie Stewart's like me this morning. I almost killed myself putting my underwear on. You ever do that? You have your underwear on the floor? You bend over, you got one. I got 1 foot hooked. I got one of my toenails hooked up and I almost went down.
Yeah, happens quite often. Mule wants to know if you bet on wrestling matches.
No, but I love the old days. Dick the Bruiser, Butcher Vachon, Mad Dog Vachon, Blackjack Lanza, Bobby Heenan, Blackjack Mulligan, Moose Sholak. Are you kidding me?
Oh my God.
It was just a bevy of great wrestlers that you saw. Mitsuo Arakawa, Dr. Moto,
Wilbur Snyder. Remember him?
The world's most scientific wrestler, Paul Christie, the Golden Boy.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. You know.
And
they all drove down Lakeshore driving like the name. I'm sure. when they drove to Comiskey Park before the Dan Ryan. How do you work in this town and let somebody just get away with that? Vote every one of those guys out if they vote for it.
Eric wants to know if you bet on Korean baseball.
No. But God bless the kid that pitched for the Cardinals the other night. I bet him, and the Cardinal manager stayed with him 1 batter too much. But he got lit up. But he's a former MVP. I forget his name. Kim, I think, is his last name. So yeah.
Yeah. What about rugby? You ever bet on rugby?
No, I've never bet on any of that nonsense. You know what? The horses, the Preakness, the horses have done well. You know, golf betting and the Preakness and horse racing's done well since COVID. You know. By the way, I got my shot. The day I got my shot, the next day they go, okay, you don't have to wear masks anymore. Good luck, everybody. I'm like this. I got a mole growing out of my ear. I got a microchip in my body. Here he's walking from the bathroom to the front room now, Johnny. Yeah, he got it at Crystal Lake. Yeah. Hold on. You got that microchip. They thought it was for the flu, but we all know that wasn't about it. There you go. Yeah, he just looked at his wife here. Okay. Come on.
Oh, hey.
Game.
You got what?
I got a big game for everybody.
Oh, okay. But before you do that, real quickly, let's give a shout out to
All
King.
day long. I'm like Lionel Richie all night long.
Let's give a shout out to King Pookie Nation's dad, who tomorrow is retiring, his last day at work. So, King Pookie Nation's dad,
I just hope to God you got a regular name and your dad at his retirement party didn't have to thank your son, King Pookie Nation. I hope your name is Jimmy or Johnny or Bill. Or I'd like to thank my son, King Pookie Nation. Everybody's going, who? Who? Like ours. Who? 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 King Pookie Nation is my youngest.
Oh, great stuff. All right, let's talk a little gambling. Brought to you by WinSports.com. We're the best.
Listen, I want you to go one unit on this. I had a great night last night.
Okay.
But I want you to go, this is, or you could do the run line. Now, I won 2 games last night, lost 2 games, both the same games.
Uh-huh.
I won the Brewers run line 1.5. I won Arizona run line 1.5. But I lost the money line on them. So I wanted to win at least one of those games on the money line. It didn't happen. I go 2-2. Last week we lost a tight ball game again. I hate to go early on everybody, but the Philadelphia Phillies on the run line are minus 160. They played Miami. The pitcher for Miami's got like a 3 ERA. That doesn't mean he won't kick ass. I really am only going to go light on this. The Philadelphia Phillies plus the 1.5 minus the 160, 170. I tell you what the price is. A lot of people just say take the run line without telling you how much it would cost you. Or you could try to take a chance. They're plus 134 on that. If you want a scary pick today, I wouldn't advise it, but if you want to go light, it came up Baltimore against the White Sox, but the White Sox and San Francisco been kicking the crap out of people, out of Vegas, and Baltimore's plus 190. So, I mean, if you buy the run line, you're taking a big chance with this baseball team. Mm-hmm. I mean, they are, Tony La Russa's done a hell of a job to keep this team going with all the injuries, the distractions, the stuff that's, Tony La Russa stuff like the lounge, and but they seem to love him. And I saw Abreu the other night pat him after a win.
Mm-hmm.
That's like a father type thing.
Yeah,
I got your back. That he ain't going anywhere, like I told everybody, and we might end up in the World Series because of it. Elbow, back to you.
I hope you're right because, as you know, I love the White Sox. I would, I was saying the other day, wouldn't it be great, Mike, if we had an all Chicago World Series?
Yes.
I mean, that's my dream. That's my dream. I've dreamed about it since I was a kid. I want that to happen.
Forget the shame I felt for people on the north side. I was at Tony's Deli. We'd go every Saturday. And all during the summer, people would walk in with Cub jackets on.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? 2005. There'd be about 6, 7 of us that would meet.
Mm-hmm.
All summer, Cub jackets. They get into the playoffs, the same people, Sox jackets, walking in. Sox paraphernalia. So you know what? This nonsense, it's a one team or the other like it used to be.
Right.
I think we just want somebody to get in. But yeah, then you'd see the real hardcore fans take division, and then they'd have to make a stand. I would, personally, I'd wear the White Sox jacket, personally.
Yeah, so I've always wanted to ask you, you grew up in the north side, you went to Sen High School, you could probably hear the crowd cheering when the windows at the school were open, and
well, I was at the game when the windows at the school were open.
Sorry.
That's the reason I got a sophomore in high school education. I had to go to junior college on a prayer. I mean, when the admissions guy goes, give him a shot. That's where I was in junior college. I did okay, but my God, so there was like 18 of us, 9-9. And the Sox would always lose to the Yankees in the late 50s and 60s. We really fouled the teams. And we had and there were Cub fans, and we'd go back and forth, and we'd both suck. At the end of the day, we'd look at each other and go, all right, it's bear season. It's bear season.
Yeah. Boy, back in those days.
I wanted to talk to you about one more thing.
Sure.
What would you do? What would you wear, Cubs or Sox?
Oh my goodness. I have to, I mean, I grew up cheering for the Cubs, but over the last 10, 12 years, I've gone over to the White Sox. There's something about the White Sox that I feel sorry for that franchise. They're just so overlooked in Chicago, and I'm always pulling for the underdog. So I would say the White Sox.
Beautiful, my friend. Beautiful. Sox and Sox. What can I tell you? You son of a bitches. I'm going to get you on Twitter, man. Some guy with a Fergie Jenkins jersey coming after me.
Oh, Mike, it's always fun. Thank you for the laughs. It's been unbelievable. I will see you next Thursday right here on the Barroom Network. And I'll let everybody know WinDailySports.com is the place to go. And at WinDailySports is the Twitter handle. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye, everybody.